Well, since the last video went over so well with a lot of viewers, many of whom left kind comments and also subscribed to my channel because of it, I thought I'd quickly move on to another subject today. That subject is a minor story from about a week and a half ago that almost no one noticed, and yet I believe it can have major implications on Bible prophecy. It involves how the Heritage Foundation is going to acquire the Abraham Accords Peace Institute, which was established by Trump's son-in-law and former senior advisor Jared Kushner. This was covered in a story on Axios about 10 days ago, and here are a couple of quotes from that article. The move by the conservative think tank, which is considered highly influential on Trump administration policies, could re-energize the efforts to push for new normalization agreements between Israel and the Arab world, something the president has said he wants to do. The Abraham Accords, signed in September 2020, were arguably Trump's biggest foreign policy achievement and the biggest breakthrough for relations between Israel and the Arab world for 25 years. Kushner, who negotiated the Abraham Accords, founded the nonprofit in May 2021 after he left government. The goal was to develop programs that will help in strengthening the normalization between Israel, the UAE, Bahrain, and Morocco. Kushner said the Abraham Accords Peace Institute's outgoing CEO, Aryeh Lightstone, joined the Trump administration and will work on White House Middle East envoy Steve Witkoff's team. Now, a few months back in an interview, Lightstone made a few interesting comments about safety and security. Here's a short clip.
I just want to ask you first, as we begin our conversation, what do you really think a second Trump administration will look like vis-a-vis Israel?
Yeah, I think the second Trump administration is going to look fantastic for people who are looking for a better and brighter future. And that starts here at home in the United States of America and will expand outwards towards our friends and our allies. And Israel is the one that I know best, but I believe all of our friends and our allies are looking forward to a new opportunity for meaningful success. And success is not defined purely as prosperity, but success, I think, actually comes from safety and security. And that's one of the primary issues that President Trump ran on, and I believe he's going to deliver. I think the first term, the common idea was promises made, promises kept, and now I think President Trump is promising even bigger, and I believe will deliver even bigger.
His remarks about safety and security are obviously very similar to the verse in First Thessalonians, which talks about peace and safety. And that verse is a reference to how there will be a short period of peace in the last days, but it's a false, temporary peace that soon results in destruction. One last quote from the Axios article explains the goal of the Trump administration. Lightstone said that with the Trump administration's focus on expanding the Abraham Accords, the mission of the Institute will move to its proper home, the administration. The goal of expanding the Abraham Accords is key because Daniel 9:27 talks about how the covenant with many will be confirmed, which we can understand from Strong's Concordance is defined as a strengthening or making the covenant stronger. I talked about this more in depth in the video Donald Trump and the Covenant with Many, and I'll put a link down below in case you'd like to watch that video. What we can see happening right in front of us is that the Trump administration has a renewed focus on expanding the Abraham Accords. And one of their stated purposes for expanding the Abraham Accords is to bring about safety and security. Now, whether or not the Abraham Accords are expanded in 2025 remains to be seen, as it might very well take another year or two for all the parties involved to come to an agreement. But we are very close to seeing this happen. And once we have the Abraham Accords expanded with many more nations, and we see the accompanying ceremonies, which will undoubtedly be worldwide news, we will be at the beginning of Daniel's 70th week, which is the final 7 years. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you guys soon.